welcome back to the last session. We've got two sessions. The first one is going to be on capital gains, and then thereafter we're talking about small business incentives. Now, our next speaker that will speak to the small business exclusion, paragraph 57, and how it's used for capital gains purposes is Graeme Saggers. He's a director from Nolan's. I see that you're also a partner at Nolan's Incorporated, fast-growing national audit, tax and advisory firm with its head office in Cape Town. He flew up yesterday. He studied at Rhodes, another Rhodes student here, qualified as a CA in 2009, and he completed his training articles with KPMG in Durban. He heads up the Nolan's tax department nationally and has a passion for consulting with small to medium-sized enterprises in their tax risks and adopting a proactive approach to managing them. Right, so I hand over to Graeme. Welcome here. We look forward to listening to you.
Thanks, Pete. Welcome to the graveyard shift. As Pete mentioned, I'm from Cape Town, which makes it extremely difficult for me to present at 3:30 in the afternoon. This time of the day, we're usually on the way to the beach. Yeah, unless it's winter, of course, when most Cape Townians go home to Britain or Germany. All right, so today we're talking about CGT issues, more particularly the paragraph 57 exemption. This exemption's been around since 2001, and I'm not sure how widely it is used. I certainly don't come across it very often. So really the purpose of today is to draw your attention to the exemption and to go through some of the intricacies of it. In reality, it's not a very complicated incentive or exemption, but it's one of those ones where you kind of feel that there's so many things that need to be in line to be able to use it that people don't really end up using it. And it's an exemption or an incentive that it takes a bit of planning to really take advantage of it or to be able to use it, which I'll hopefully show you in this presentation. A bit of an agenda. What I want to start off by doing is just talking a bit about the role of tax practitioners with small businesses. Then, just by PowerPoint time, we'll go through the detail of paragraph 57. I've got two small, simple case studies, which I just want to use to highlight a few things to consider with 57, and then just some closing thoughts. So I think the general consensus is there won't be complaints if I don't use up my full half an hour, so let's push on. Firstly, just looking at the role players, the way things are moving these days, gone are the days where, there's, accounting is accounting or bookkeeping is bookkeeping. When you're looking at larger corporations, you generally have specialists within the different spheres. You have the management accountants who are reporting on what the business is really interested in. You have the financial accountants who are reporting in terms of IFRS, which only them and the auditors understand. And then you have the tax accountants or managers who, take on a completely different approach. When you look at the more medium-sized companies, this is really the field that I play more in. You'll generally find a situation where you now have a financial manager who's expected to be an expert in all three of those, and they'll generally bounce the ideas off their auditor and tax consultants in order to get things completely correct. But when you look at the very small, well, not very small, but the small enterprises, your sole practitioners and partnerships and that sort of thing, the role of the tax practitioner or your accountant takes on a completely different perspective. And this is really the area that we're looking at today. These are guys that are entrepreneurs. They're passionate about their business, but the finance and the tax stuff, they must leave that to someone else. And very often you're more than likely faced with a situation where you're not just looking after their accounting or their tax, you're looking after their estate planning, family planning issues, general business advisor. So in terms of paragraph 57, as I said, it's not hell of a complicated. There's 6 sub-paragraphs which we'll work through. Firstly,